except where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying?
So are bad martial arts instructors like bad managers? I would say so. So if there's anything on the internet that you're looking at to try to tell you what a truly bad instructor would be when it comes to a martial arts class, this right here should just apply, period. A lot of people online are going to tell you that somebody's bad just because they're not doing their particular style. You really shouldn't look at that. You should look at character traits that show you that somebody is self-centered and really doesn't care about the students and that type of thing. So this article that I'm going to be bouncing off of was written by, what is his name? Chris Williams. Chris Williams is a former Microsoft VP of HR and a podcaster, consultant, and TikTok creator. He writes that bad managers are often self-centered and overly focused on their image. So I would say the same thing goes for a bad martial arts instructor. So the four traits are: if they're self-centered, input focused, afraid of failure, and an information hoarder. So going with self-centered, he says the most common trait he's seen in bad managers is a relentless focus on themselves. Everything is all about them. Whether it's driven by ego or panic, bad managers are always worried about how they appear to others. I think that would be pretty much self-explanatory in terms of how that would apply to a martial arts instructor. If it seems to be more about the instructor and really trying to help you work, then chances are that's probably a real bad instructor. And it doesn't matter how many accolades they have or don't have. The student, are supposed to be the primary focus of the class. Now, that doesn't mean that you get to do whatever you want, that you come in there and it's Burger King and you get to have it your way. No. It should be that the instructor is there to help you develop, not just help themselves develop. Ideally, instructors and teacher and students could all develop together. But when push comes to shove, instructors should be putting the students first. But again, remember, that doesn't mean that students get to come in there and do whatever they want. It just means that you don't exist just to make the instructor feel good. Second one is input focus. Now, this one I'm kind of having a little bit hard to see how this is directly input into the martial arts, except when I come down to here. It says these managers lose sight of the forest for the trees. Instead of being obsessed with the results, sales, and happy customers, they'll focus on the inputs that feel easier to control. In terms of results for a student, besides, the bottom line of if I have, if you're not thinking about this from a storefront standpoint where they have to turn over a profit and you need a certain amount of students to stay in there and be happy, I'm interpreting this as student development, student improvement. Are students learning the art or arts that are being practiced? Are students making progress? I think a good example of that would be, do they care more about winning tournaments or do they care about how you win the tournament? Do they want you to improve as a person or do they just want you to bring home a bunch of trophies and accolades so they can say, hey, look how good of a coach I am? Now, I'm not saying that people who are competitive are bad. No, they're not. Not at all. Especially we're talking about money being on the line. But what I'm saying is this is another case of where the student's development should come first. It should be about, yes, this person is a champion. And not only are they a champion, they're improving in their character too along the way. They're not cheating to win. They're winning because they're excellent. And they're excellent because they work hard and because they have the best coaching available that they can get. So even though I'm not overly competitive, I also don't have too much of a problem with competition as long as everybody's competing above board and putting their best foot forward. That's why I think competition can be a good thing, even though competition is not my main focus. I'm more about the development, help you feel good type thing, help you improve as a person type thing. And a lot of times, well, I do what I can. Afraid of failure. A spinoff from the obsession with image, these bad managers are deeply afraid of failure. I would say bad instructors are deeply afraid of failure. Students feel like they can't ever make a mistake. You don't ever try anything that would push students to their limits. You try to keep them in a comfort zone to keep them coming back. No. Now, there is one thing where you want to have safety. You want to make sure that nobody gets injured. I'm not saying that. But if you're not nudging the students towards growth or sharpening them towards growth because you just don't want to look bad or you don't want them to fail, yeah, I would say that makes a bad instructor. And see that's the type of thing that's not restricted to any type of style, that type of thing. Information hoarder. This I say would be the worst thing. All this leads to a manager who treats information as a precious commodity to be hoarded rather than a gift to be shared. The martial arts should be shared. I can understand that there are certain things you don't want to teach to certain levels because you don't want them to be irresponsible and you don't want like kids, for example, trying, different pressure point strikes and techniques and chokes on their buddies so they could hurt them. We're not talking about being reckless. We're talking about acting like, unless you're paying, a certain rate all the time, the person can't learn ever. No. Now keep in mind, the vast majorities of instructors do not work for free. And if you don't want to be someone who works and teach for free, I have no problem with that. I'm not working and teaching for free when I'm teaching right now. But you should still want to, share information when you can. And you could do like some people who taught me when I was on a strictly student side of the game. If you feel like the student isn't ready, or if your instructor tells you that I'm not telling you that because I don't think you're ready for this information, you haven't developed yet, that's not information hoarding. That's being responsible. Information hoarding is not allowing your students or not empowering them or not trying to tell them how to learn information or find things out for themselves. Just, stringing them along, not sharing things with them just to keep them coming back to you. Okay? Here's one policy I have with information. I don't mind when my students learn other things. Now, if they want to try techniques that I know that they don't know how to use, or I think that are going to be dangerous for them to try, I will blatantly and directly tell them that. But see, in a way, that's not information hoarding either. I'm letting them know about the information. I'm just telling them that, I don't think they can handle it. And I have yet to be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure there are probably things that people know about that they haven't shared with me, who are more knowledgeable and senior than me. Maybe they feel like I can't handle it. And there was a time when I would have a problem with that, but now I don't. I don't. Managers like this are famous for the wrong reasons. And so are martial arts instructors who are like this for the wrong reasons. So it says these bad managers all become famous within the organization. I would say that, a lot of times it's just the way the society is, period. Like, there's just something within us. I guess if you want to come from a religious standpoint, it would be, walking in the flesh. People that just walk in the flesh, they just seem to stick out so much more than people who don't. And that doesn't mean that everybody who is popular is bad. I'm not saying that. I think if you would use some discernment and you're honest with yourself, you know that there are people who are famous for the wrong reasons, and then there are people who are famous because they're really on the up and up. So I guess if you want to be famous, try to be one of the up and up ones and not one of the ones who are there for the wrong reasons. So if you really want to look at, what makes somebody a bad instructor? Somebody who is self-centered, just focused on input and not the results they get out of their students. Afraid of failure, like they couldn't spar with a student that they think would be better than them. Couldn't handle it if a student scored on them or tapped them out or anything like that. And they hoard information. That pretty much sums it up to me. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share some people like to talk about the martial arts and peace. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And if you're thinking about, taking lessons from me in any type of fashion, in person, online, go to the About section of this channel and figure out how to contact me. Peace.